Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you've been well. Yes, it is a Tundra, and that's what this video is going to be about. I'm going to be talking about my new Tundra. It's a 2022 Toyota Tundra Limited TRD Off-Road, and this is actually the double cab, so that means the smaller back seat with the bigger bed, the 6.5 foot bed. I'm going to talk about why I got this trim, why I got a double cab instead of a Crew Max, why I got the longer bed, and kind of answer probably all the questions you have in this video. So stick around for that. For those of you that don't care about me or my channel or anything, I'll put chapters down below so you can kind of skip along to whatever you care about. For those of you that do follow me, I'm going to be talking about stuff that you probably care about, so you might as well watch the whole video. But for those that are new here, hey, my name is Mike. I run this channel, Last Line of Defense. It's a lot about kind of general preparedness and things that are all related to that. But a big part of my channel is vehicular adventure, overlanding, car camping, off-roading, whatever. So I have a bunch of vehicles actually. Got a RAV4 here, my Toyota Tacoma, which I'm most known for probably. That's kind of like full-on adventure truck. The Lexus LX 570, which I'll probably sell actually. I have a Polaris General. I have the 80 series Land Cruiser. I have a 60 series Land Cruiser. And then I have a Jayco adventure van, a Sprinter 4x4. So I'm probably known for having too many vehicles, but one vehicle I don't have is a truck with a nice big bed. I did have one for a little while. It was the Diamondback project, the Freedom Tremor project. It was an F250, a Ford F250 Tremor. And I loved that truck. And a lot of people told me like, oh, you're gonna get the bug for the big truck. And I did, like almost instantly. And I was never against big trucks. I always thought they were cool. I just didn't really need one. And this truck, I don't know, I feel like I kind of need one in a sense. So that's kind of what we're gonna talk about. So I got this really cool hood piece because I was originally gonna get a 1794 edition. What do you guys think? All right, so actually this is how it comes here. I'll show you some close-ups in a little bit, but I found out about these from Ashley and they reached out and I was like, no way, Ashley was just looking at these things because she really wanted to hang one over the TV. And I don't know, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
These are from a company called Bliss. They're from local artists in Bali. Really pretty, it's hand carved. You can see the one I chose has feathers carved into it. And they come in all different colors and finishes and different carving patterns, really neat things. Yeah, you can get different colors and different skulls. We chose the Longhorn because we thought that one was cool. So these are actually ethically sourced. They are a waste product of Balinese agriculture, so they would otherwise just be thrown away. So it'll come separate pieces like this, and then the horns actually just go on here. So obviously they look super cool. The Longhorns are just kind of impressive. They actually have one that's even longer than this. And it, you know, pays respect to the life of the animal while being some beautiful art. So yeah, this is from Bliss. Thanks again, guys, for getting this out. Ashley is super stoked, and I'll probably go hang it up on the wall right now. So a Toyota Tundra, why not a Ram 1500? Why not a Ford F-150? Why not a Chevy? Why not a Nissan Titan? Why not a long bed Tacoma? There's a lot of other trucks out there that I could have got, right? And I just kind of like Toyotas. I'm gonna get more into that. I'm gonna break that down a little bit, but I kind of like Toyotas because they're kind of like Glocks. Like, you'll see that in this video. This truck doesn't do anything that much better than any truck. Actually, it falls short in features from nearly all of the competition in a lot of ways. And you're probably thinking, why'd you get it then? And it's because I like Toyota, because again, it's kind of like a Glock. It just works. It's simple and they just work. Granted, there have been a few early issues with this truck, so hopefully mine is all right. And here it is. Bone, absolutely bone stock. I wanted to do one video before I do any mods. I'm also known for probably modding my vehicles too fast. So this one is just like how I bought it. Actually, there's only like 600 or 700 miles on the clock. It's pretty much brand new. So this is not by any means a long-term review. I bought it in Omaha, Nebraska at Village Point Toyota. Thanks guys for the help there, though they did charge me a markup if you were wondering. I paid $5,000 over
MSRP because I'm an idiot and because I wanted it now. But I'll talk about that more in a bit. But bone stock, I did black out some emblems, but that's it. I actually forgot. I was gonna not even black out the emblems because I wanted to show it bone stock. So why a new truck? Why did I get a new truck? I just listed off all the vehicles I have. Why a new truck? Because I wanted just a truck that does it all. As some of you guys know, I'm building a house this summer, which just is hitting delay after delay. I'll update you guys probably soon in a video about the house build and the homestead build. But basically, I'm building a house this summer into this fall, hopefully finished by this winter. But I'm building a house and I wanted just a truck that I'm gonna use for construction duties. I'm gonna be hauling stuff. I'm gonna be driving to the job site every day. I'm gonna need a place to kind of keep my tools. I'll be picking up stuff from the lumber yard or whatever and moving stuff and occasionally towing things. So my LX 570, which kind of became my daily, isn't great for those things. So I just kind of wanted one truck that I was gonna daily drive and use for just all around construction duties that would be comfortable but still have the features. I leave my key in my pocket. I leave my phone in my pocket. Apple wireless CarPlay is really nice and I can just go and I don't have to think about it. And again, it just works. So this has the room for all of my typical gear that I keep in my vehicles, first aid kit, get home bags, that kind of stuff. But it also have the room to carry all my other tools and whatnot that I was just talking about. So it kind of has the ability to just, I don't have to think about things. I don't have to move a bin out to put more stuff in. It will hold it all, everything that I need. And then something that I could mod. You guys know I love to mod my vehicles. So I'll get into this more a little bit later. Am I gonna mod this vehicle? Absolutely, I'm gonna mod it, but it's not gonna go too crazy. Like it's still gonna be my daily driver. It's still gonna be just kind of like a work truck, but I'll put wheels and tires on, a little lift. I got the Diamondback coming. So those are like the phase 1 mods, and then I'll probably put like armor on it and I'll probably put some lights on it. And I'm sure eventually it'll be a full build, but it's not gonna be like my Tacoma that just has like max tracks and rooftop tent and everything on it 24/7. I will be able to use it for those kinds of tasks, but the day-to-day will just be like more of a work truck type build with kind of a modding edge to it. And a big reason for that, honestly, is because I want to keep my Tacoma decked out. You may be asking like, well, you already have a Tacoma, you already have a truck. Why don't you just use what you already have? And part of the reason is because I'm a pretty busy guy as is. Once I start building my house, I'm going to be insanely busy, but I still like to go on adventures. I'll still like to go camping and wheeling and everything like that. So the plan is just to keep the Tacoma just like set up, dialed, ready to go. So then I just like snap my fingers and go adventure. I can just be like, come home tired from building my house on a Friday, pick up Ashley and the dogs, and then roll out without having to think about it and put a tent on and do all this other stuff. So part of the reason is honestly just so I can keep the Tacoma ready to go at all times. So why a Tundra and not something else? There's a lot of cool trucks out there. Like, Mike, didn't you just really love that F-250 Tremor? Weren't you gushing over it? I did, and I do really, really like that truck. And I'll get into it in a second why I didn't get another F-250, but why the Tundra? Let's just kind of break it down here. So one thing is it's new. It's the newest truck out right now pretty much, and I like new. I like new, and I like Toyota. I'm kind of known in the Toyota world. Like I said earlier, I have a lot of Toyotas. People kind of wanted me to build a Tundra, and occasionally it kind of lines up of what I want to do and what the people want. And I think that people wanted a Tundra. Granted, there's a lot of people that would love me to build a Ram or a Chevy or a GMC or a Ford or a Rivian or something like that. But a lot of people wanted the Tundra. I wanted a Tundra. I like Toyota. Sweet. It's a brand new truck, and there's not a whole lot of aftermarket support for brand new trucks, obviously. Another reason that I wanted to do is because my partners, my build partners and companies that I work with are developing stuff. So I can help them develop stuff for a platform that they want to develop stuff for. The Tundra obviously is going to be kind of popular in my world, the overlanding type world. And so I'm going to kind of help with that and potentially help bring products to market sooner and help bring better products to market. So that kind of had another thing to play in it. And then so I wanted a bigger truck, right? I kind of talked about why I didn't just use the Tacoma earlier, but I wanted a bigger truck. But how much bigger did I need? Like that F-250 Tremor, basically I was thinking about a big F-250 or maybe even a Ram 2500 or 3500, like an AEV Prospector XL. Absolutely love those trucks. But again, when I talked about earlier, I was like, this is my daily just do everything truck. This is gonna be the truck that I drive into the city if I need to. It's gonna be the truck that I go park at the airport if I need to. In the mountains, I can kind of have a big truck where, like in my town, all the parking spots are big, and my daily tasks, like I work from home, so I don't even drive that much. A bigger truck would have worked for that, but since I want this to just to be an everything truck, an F-250, even with the short bed, the 6.75 foot bed is still a couple feet bigger than this truck. And I owned that truck for a year, and I drove that truck for a year, and this is considerably smaller and more maneuverable than the F-250 was. And it has nearly the same power as that 7.3 Godzilla, and it's like 1,000 pounds lighter. So it gets up and goes. So that's kind of why I didn't do an HD truck. You guys saw me in an HD truck and you thought maybe I'd get another HD truck. I don't really need 4,000 pounds of payload. I'm not really towing like 15,000 pounds. So for what I need, a half-ton truck just kind of made sense. So a half-ton truck made sense, Mike. Then why not a Raptor or a TRX? Because they're really expensive and probably overkill for what I need. But why not a Ram 1500 or a Chevy 1500, Silverado or a Sierra or an F-150? Well, that's another great question. It comes back to kind of earlier, the the partnerships. I like Toyota just as a brand. This isn't sponsored. I can say whatever, and I'm going to trash talk this truck quite a bit later. But the F-150 was in contention because it's kind of new and I really like it, and they have some features that I'll kind of get into a little later that I like over the Tundra for sure. But tentatively, I may or may not be working on trying to do a Ford F-150 Lightning project bill. I don't know if I will. It's not approved, nothing signed, but I'm kind of trying to. So if I do that, then I'll already have an F-150, and it'd be nice to kind of compare the F-150 to the Tundra. But the F-150, like maybe an F-150 Tremor, which would be quite a bit more than this as well, was in contention. I was certainly thinking about it for those that are wondering, but just kind of weighed out to where the Tundra made sense. So why a limited instead of an SR5 or a 1794 or a Platinum or a TRD Pro or a Capstone? Well, because I wanted all that chrome, baby. Love chrome. I love chrome, said nobody ever. So I'm killing all the chrome. That's like the first thing I'm gonna do. All this chrome will be gone. Planning to vinyl wrap the handles and the thing. I may end up doing an emblem delete, but I just got these little black caps I put on for now. I'm getting the grill surround, the stupid, disgusting grill surround painted, paint color match. So I'm gonna get rid of all the chrome. So I certainly didn't get a limited because of the chrome. Really the only reason that I got a limited instead of an SR5, because you can kind of option up an SR5 to pretty much have everything that a limited can have, except for, well, there's a couple things, but the main thing that I wanted, except for cooled front seats. So I really wanted cooled front seats. I had that F-250 Tremor and it had the cooled front seats, and I was like, this is amazing. And if you haven't had cool front seats yet, treat yourself one day because they are great. So SR5, you cannot option it up to get cooled front seats, and the limited comes standard with cooled front seats. So that's why I got a limited, honestly, over an SR5. You option up an SR5 to the limited level type specs, and they're basically the same cost, honestly. So if you don't care about the cooled front seats, you can get a cheaper version of the truck as an SR5 package, or you can option it up to a lot of the stuff that kind of comes standard on the limited, like the 14-inch screen, which is nice. You can get an SR5 with the 14-inch screen. It comes standard on the limited. But if you option it up, it basically comes pretty close to the price of a limited. So that's why I got a limited instead of an SR5. Now, why didn't I get 1794? 1794 is my favorite. With that saddle brown interior, I would have gotten a 1794. They're harder to get, but if I could get a 1794 with a saddle brown interior, that would be the ticket. You do get cooled and heated rear seats in the 1794, which you don't get on the Limited. The reason I didn't get the 1794 though is because they don't actually even sell a 1794 in double cab. They only sell it with the Crew Max. And so you're maybe asking, why didn't I get a Crew Max with the 6.5 foot bed? I'll get into that in a second. So why didn't I wait for a TRD Pro? Patience, I didn't want to wait. Also, it doesn't come in the double cab. And I didn't actually want the hybrid. So that's kind of maybe surprising to some people. I didn't want the hybrid. Because it doesn't really get any better gas mileage. Like realistically, it gets like a 1 mile per gallon better, according to the EPA anyway. It has lower payload capacity because you have all of the battery and the extra stuff, so it adds more weight to the truck. So it's more weight, lower payload. I forget about towing. It's not that important. I'm not going to be towing 11,000 pounds with this thing, which is what it can tow, I don't think. But there's a few other things. There's a little more things to kind of break or go wrong. And then you also lose the back seat storage space. I love the under seat storage space. I absolutely love it. And I didn't want to lose that. So that's why I didn't go for the hybrid. And this truck is very peppy, very fast. It feels great. I don't feel like it's underpowered in the slightest. So I didn't really need more power because, again, not trying to drive a sports car. And that's the main benefit of the hybrid, is it gets you more power with kind of a bunch of cons. All right, so this is the big one. This is probably the biggest, the main question I have gotten asked, and I probably will get asked. Why a double cab? Why'd you get one with that like stupid, unusable back seat that just doesn't look as cool? And I agree, the proportions of the Crew Max, just like on the Tacoma with the short bed, I just think it looks right. Like we've been ingrained to like think that looks right now, the bigger back seat and the smaller bed. And I too think it looks better. So purely aesthetically, I would go for the Crew Max with a 5.5 foot bed. And I didn't. Why? Why didn't I? We're gonna tell you right now. So one of the main reasons is this right here. I wanted a 6.5 foot bed. I wanted a bigger bed. The 5.5 foot bed's like barely bigger than my Tacoma. And if I was gonna have a second truck, I wanted to differentiate it and I wanted to carry more stuff. Again, I'm gonna be using this for construction things. I'm gonna be literally building my house for the next 6 to 9 months. And then after that, I'm gonna be literally building out the homestead with chickens and this and that and hauling stuff and getting building supplies and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna be using a truck for a truck. So I wanted the bigger bed. Now you can get the Crew Max with a 6.5 foot bed, but I just think it looks, personally, no offense if you got that, because functionally I think that is an awesome truck. The Crew Max, if you need the bigger back seat, but you want the bigger bed, I think it checks a lot of boxes. I think it looks too long. I think it just looks like a limo. I think it looks silly. And it has a bigger turning radius. It's harder to park. At that point, with the Crew Max and the 6.5 foot bed, you are very near F-250 Ram 2500 dimensions. And if I was gonna go that big in a truck, I would just get I would just get a true HD truck. If I was gonna go that big, I'd get a F-350 diesel with 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. So that's what I would do. So this is a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter, but still has a pretty good sized bed. And the other reason is I don't spend a whole lot of time carrying around a crew of full-size men in the back or larger women. I don't. 95% of the time I'm driving my truck, I am the only one in the truck. I am in the driver's seat, the only one in there, and I have some gear and construction things. Another like 2%, 3% of the time, I also have Ashley in my like daily driver truck. I also have Ashley. We're going out to eat or we're going to the store or whatever. So some of the time I have someone in the passenger seat. These aren't exact percentages. Very little do I have anyone at all in the back seat. And currently with my life right now, the only person that we sometimes have in the back seat is Isabella, an 11-year-old girl, plenty of room for her back here. So that's my personal like life requirements right now. 1% of the time I'm driving this truck do I even have a human in the back seat at all. Back seat's plenty big for my dogs. They'll be back there occasionally. And the front seat, basically from this door forward, is exactly the same in a Crew Max. The only reason I would want a Crew Max is I'm never in the back seat. I'm always driving my truck. I literally have never sat in the back seat of one of my vehicles, I think, unless I was like letting a buddy drive one of my cars just to see how it is. So I'm never back here. So I don't care about the back seat at all. I don't have 6 foot tall children that I'm regularly taking on road trips. Like this little trip to the store and back, I can sit back here fine, no problem. So, and then I'm not like on a construction crew where I'm carrying around like a crew of guys like to a job site or something, or cross country or whatever. So none of those things apply to me. And if my full grown adult friends need to hitch a ride with me, get your own car. But no, I mean, if I carpooled to work or something like that, again, I don't, then maybe I would care more about the back seat. So a lot of people just default to a crew max. They're just like, I'm getting a Tundra, I'm getting a crew max because that back seat, baby, this back seat is unusable. Screw that. No, it's totally usable. But again, if you had larger people in the back seat all the time, crew max probably the ticket, and the double cab probably isn't. The only thing I'm concerned about is Ashley and I are getting married next month, and we're gonna try and have some babies, right? I don't know that a rear-facing child seat will fit back here because it has shrunk. The double cab this year is smaller than the double cab last year. I'm gonna be doing some videos soon comparing. I have a buddy with the double cab and a crew max of the previous generation. I have a buddy with the crew max of this generation. So I'm gonna do a video in the near future, getting out a tape measure, sitting back there, having some full-size humans kind of measured out. So that video's coming up. So if you have any questions or if you want me to perform a specific thing in those videos, let me know, because I'm gonna do a separate video just kind of comparing sizes of the bed and everything like that. So I'll just walk and talk a little bit, kind of show you the truck here. So this is a first year model truck. A lot of people try to steer clear of first years, and I don't actually. The Tacoma was first year 2016. The RAV was first year 2019. The Tremor was not a first year, but the 2020 was the first year of the 7.3 Godzilla and the first year of the Tremor package on the Super Duties. And I just like new. Like I said earlier, I like the newest because especially when I buy them, they're gonna be kind of fresh for the longest. So this truck will be the same as the Tundra that people are getting 4 years from now. Are there gonna be some mechanical gremlins to it? Yeah, maybe. They're not affecting everyone. It's actually a very low percentage of trucks that are sold are affected, but you always hear about those ones. So will mine be affected? I don't know. I hope not. But all that to say, first model years are kind of what they are. Sorry about this. I'm kind of bumping around, so I'm sure those of you with a weak stomach will get sick from this. But yeah, that's why I decided not to wait, because I never wait. Also, I did get an extended warranty on this, just in case I do have issues. So the design of the truck is pretty polarizing. So the massive grille. This is a twin turbo 6-cylinder, so gone are the days of the 5.7 liter V8. I do have experience with the V8, the 5.7 and the Lexus, but no more V8 in Tundra. This is the only engine, and you could also get it with that hybrid. So the big grille is actually kind of functional. There's a massive radiator in here. There's 2 intercoolers tucked in here. So it's really, could they have made it smaller? I don't know, maybe. Maybe it was like largely a styling statement. These are kind of functional, but I don't really see anything behind them. But air does go in. So I don't mind it. Heat is your enemy when it comes to reliability. So a massive grill to keep things cooled. And I watched this guy, I forget his YouTube channel, but he's like a master Toyota mechanic that kind of talked through the new Tundra. And he said the cooling system is super robust, which is good for longevity. So he felt pretty confident in how these things are going to do. Again, there's been some issues, obviously, whole wastegate thing. Hopefully I'm not affected. But overall styling, I think stock, the tires, wheels, well, not the wheels really, but the tires look way too small. So I think it looks proper anywhere from 35 to 37 inch tires, which is what I'm gonna do. So I think every truck looks stupid, but I think the Tundra looks especially stupid at stock form. But I do think once you start doing a couple of mods to it, I do personally think they're the best looking full-size truck. So I'm on the side of, I think it looks good. Again, I'm gonna delete all the chrome. Like this whole weird handlebar mustache thing is gotta be the ugliest design choice ever. I think it looks much better color match, so we'll do that. Now the miles per gallon, also the fuel efficiency isn't great. It's been pretty much widely reported that these are not getting what the EPA numbers say. The EPA numbers were a decent step up from the V8. This is, most people are not reporting these being that good, but it does have more power than the 8-cylinder. Let me go ahead and pop the hood. I always think popping the hood on these newer engines especially is pretty stupid. You just kind of look at some plastic under there, but I don't know. See, people seem to care about it. So here it is. We have engine cover. We have dual intakes on both sides. Dual fuse boxes for some reason. I wish they would have put all those in the same place, but I think those are mostly relays, and these are kind of relays and fuses. Battery in the back there. A lot of room for activities in here, so I think aftermarket bumpers and stuff will have room for winches, though this is a little sensor that everyone's gonna have to work around. Front camera. But under the hood here. So the incredibly surprising thing about this truck is a feat of engineering, and I say this kind of jokingly, every engineer at Toyota is smarter than me. So obviously, I'm sure they had reasons for what I'm about to tell you, but so the exterior dimensions of the Tundra are bigger in almost every dimension than the previous gen. Not just a little bit, but we have a tiny little 3.5 liter versus the old big 5.7 liter. Again, we got twin turbos and some other stuff in there, but the engine is smaller. The interior space is smaller. Interior space is smaller on these in the Crew Max and especially in the double cab. The bed is smaller. The bed is narrower and shallower. The turning radius got bigger. So Toyota somehow was like, hey, let's build a slightly bigger truck, but let's make the turning radius less. Let's make the interior capacity less, and let's make the bed size less. That's kind of ridiculous and stupid, and I don't like that at all. Granted, again, it's one of those things in real life. Will I notice the bed being smaller? Well, I won't because I didn't have a previous gen Tundra, but just knowing that it shrunk is kind of painful. And then especially knowing the back seat of the double cab shrunk is also painful because my buddy with the double cab 2021, his back seat does definitely feel more spacious. So I've watched probably 20 hours of reviews here. So I kind of have this little loadout here with some kit, a couple tools, knives, whatever. You know how I do. I will probably do a full truck kit video in the Tundra, so let me know if you want to see that in the comments down below. You'll see like little bits and pieces of it here. So inside, let's see here. Inside, if I can show you what I'm looking at here, I am seated. So I've actually been in my old age now. I'm not really old, but when I was younger, I used to sit as far back as possible, lean back, like, you know, all kinds of screwed up. As I get older, I want to do things a little more ergonomical. So I sit a little more straight up now. I'm a little bit closer to the pedals with my shoulders back at full arm extension, with my shoulders touching the seat. I am at the steering wheel. So I've read and researched a lot about proper car driving ergonomics just for everything. Also, it's a little more control sitting like this. So I actually sit a little closer than I used to, which kind of helps give more room in the back seat. I'm 5'10", a true 5'10", an actual barefoot 5 foot 10 inches tall, 180 pounds. So that means on the internet, I'm like 6'1", 6'2", according to all the other people that say they're 6'1", 6'2", that I see at events and I'm taller than them. But a true 5'10". So I'm very much an average adult male size. Down here, you have a lot of adjustability. I don't think it's as adjustable as a lot of stuff, but I do like the lumbar support. It's only front and back, but it's at a right spot for me. Like sometimes they go up and down and front and back. This feels at a right spot, so I don't mind that. You can raise the seat up quite a bit and down quite a bit and back and forward, obviously. So if you need that extra space, you can accommodate it. All right, so in the cockpit though, how does it feel? So another quick thing on the Limited, you get analog gauges rather than the 12 whatever inch LCD screen. I love tech. I love embracing future technology. I am all about the digital gate. Really, there's fewer things to go wrong with. Like people are like, oh, it's digital and this thing are gonna break. There's way more things that can go wrong on an analog gauge than a digital screen. Digital screen is one thing, and screens are very reliable now. Anyway, having said that, you got to bump up to Platinum 1794 and above to get the big digital screen. It's not even an upgradable option on the Limited. I would have definitely chosen the digital screen. Having said that, let's get some focus here. The analog screen is fine. If you've had any Toyota in the last while, this is basically the exact same as the RAV, basically exact same as the Tacoma. Little tiny screen in here that kind of gives you some relevant info, but it works. It works fine. I would prefer the big digital screen though. I do like this. This is a massive 14-inch screen. Toyota slammed this in and said, now we're class leading or whatever. But I think there's bigger screens in other trucks. But this is big. It's 14 inches. If you have I have an iPad Pro 12.9 inch or a MacBook 14. It's a big screen in here. Now that I'm kind of accustomed to it, it doesn't seem that big. Just seems right. Feels good though. A lot of people spend countless hours talking about the built-in infotainment system inside of these cars. I don't know why. Anybody that has a smartphone is going to be using either Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Maybe I'm weird, but like seriously, if you have an iPhone or if you have an Android, don't even bother. Like I don't even use the Toyota system anymore. This is wireless Apple CarPlay. I get in, my phone automatically connects. I don't even need to take it out of my pocket. Sitting here, oh, actually, no, I took it out because I wanted to show you this little spot, but it's not connected to anything. Connects automatically. You can use Siri, you can use Maps, you can play your music, whatever you want to do, podcasts, audiobooks. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but there is no reason to even use the regular Toyota thing. Having said that, you will go into the screen to kind of adjust your personal settings and your light timeouts. There isn't a whole lot that you can adjust here, but there is just enough to like kind of make you feel like there's some adjustment. But mostly it's just a big screen for CarPlay or Android Auto, and for that, it works really well. Having said that, I wish you could do more. I wish maybe you can do more with Android Auto. Apple's kind of behind the curve for some of this stuff, but it's basically just if you used CarPlay on a smaller screen, this is the same but bigger. I feel like they should take advantage of the bigger screen and do more stuff in here, but you can't. It's just the Apple CarPlay or Android Auto that you know and love. Having said that, it's great. It's perfect. Screen feels good. It's pretty responsive, so no complaints about that. No complaints about that. And one thing that is very good are all of these buttons and these toggles. So you basically just have one line of controls here. There's some other stuff, your hazards, your locker. I do have all of this stuff. These are your drive modes. So you spin this dial to change from like eco, sport, and normal. Then you have your tow haul, crawl control stuff, MTS, multi-terrain select. So this is the TRD off-road. So you have that, and you have your rear locker, which I like both of those things. And then your 2 high, 4 low. 4 high, I believe you can just switch on the fly like everything else, like under 62 miles per hour or something. 4 low, you come to a stop, flip it to neutral, and pop it into 4 low. Pretty standard stuff. There's an electronic park brake here. You can set that in the settings to like kick on when it goes into park or manually. And then you can kind of do this hold button to kind of manually engage your parking brake, because you don't have any kind of an e-brake. You don't have it here. You don't have it on your foot. You have nothing. But these are great. Having all these buttons here, one big control volume knob, that's the only knob in the car. This is the only knob you need. You do have your steering wheel controls. The steering wheel controls are very good. This is adaptive cruise control, which if you haven't used, you really have to use. I don't know that they sell a whole lot of cars that don't have adaptive cruise anymore, like modern, brand new cars, but it's a game changer for road trips. Absolutely love it. All the controls here are very easy. This changes your lane assist. Basically, it does actually control your steering wheel in one of the modes to kind of keep you centered. I think it's called active lane centering. You do have to have a hand just barely touching the wheel for it to do that. It works okay if there's really good lines. And then it has the beep mode. You know, it'll beep at you if you merge out of your lane. I think that's great for road trips. I turn it off for like daily normal use because it doesn't have great detection on a lot of the roads I drive on. Cruise control set, up and down, cancel. This changes some modes through your your unit. This seeks left and right on tracks, volume up and down over here, voice command. I don't really use that again. These buttons all kind of control that there. So everything is super nice. There's nothing capacitive or stupid like I have in my Mercedes Sprinter. The capacitive here, nightmare. These are all buttons and switches. So everything in here is actually super intuitive, works well. This is your windshield washer stuff, your headlight stuff over here. But this stuff, let's talk about this stuff. Let me kick on my lights so it's illuminated. Here we go. So temperature control. So temperature control here, very good. These things toggle up and down. So I love these switches. These up and down toggles are amazing. If it's just a single thing, really the up or the down does the same thing. You turn it on auto or you adjust the fan speed. Sorry for the focus here, but fan speed up and down. Sync just syncs your dual climate control zone. Mode changes like feed, face, defrost, whatever. And these buttons underneath obviously should be pretty self-explanatory. Heated and cooled seats, turning the whole system off, defrost, recirc, whatever. The cooled seats are good. They are not as powerful as my Ford Super Duty. My Ford Super Duty, you turn on those seats. What do these look like, by the way, guys? Anyone? In the comments down below. But my Ford Super Duty, like blue, like these feel good. You can feel them. They're good enough, but the Ford definitely has more powerful cooled seats. So I wish these were a little bit more powerful. And then let's talk about this. So I don't have, my package that I got doesn't have the digital rearview mirror. I'm kind of bummed. I was kind of looking forward to that. I thought that would be cool. It doesn't have it. Again, I wasn't able to pick this truck. This isn't the truck that I would have built. I would have changed some things, but alas, I don't have that. And I don't have the wireless charger, and I don't have any power. We'll get back into the bed here in a little bit, but I don't know if all of them have this, but it basically has 360 cameras. Like mine doesn't have any package of camera or tech or anything like that. So I think this is just like a standard thing. And it's a very stupid thing. It's like, okay, it's kind of cool. Like you can kind of see what's around you and everything. But so I previously was a developer, like a programmer, writing code for a living. That's what I do. And granted, I haven't developed whatever system this is using, but the fact that you can't control any of this, like even though it spins around on its own, obviously it can spin, and the fact that you can't control any of this has got to be the dumbest thing in the world. So it's a cool thing that could have been much cooler if I was able to spin around, zoom in, or anything, but you can't control any of that. And the other thing is when you go to here, it doesn't give you any options that I know of to like go into your other camera settings. It's just this weird spin around perimeter. Yeah, you can change the truck color to red or whatever. I have it on green. Even though like this is kind of cool. Yeah, I'd rather have it than not, but it's not, it could be so much better. Like they have the cameras, they have the technology, they have this view. It could be so much better. So that's kind of, it's cool, but it's kind of a fail. Having said that, the reverse camera when you're actually driving, or there's different settings that'll show, when you're going forward or when, it detects a little beep, beep, beep parking sensor type thing. These cameras are actually really, really good. And the control here is actually really good. So you can do a bunch of stuff. There's a little crawl mode control and everything. You could look out the front if you want. You could do the sides up the front on the sides. You can do kind of back the rear on the sides. You can do the overhead, the bed view. Basically, the camera system, the 360 cameras are really, really, honestly, really good. But this thing, I don't know, it has potential. Maybe they'll update like a little firmware update and actually bring some actual functionality to this, because right now, it's not that good. I would much prefer that when you click this, and again, this truck is brand new to me, so let me know down in the comments if you can access the cameras. Like, I don't know how to access my camera. Other than going into reverse, I don't know how to get to this screen. Let me know if there's a way to get to this screen that I don't know about, because I would much prefer getting into this screen than this thing. Like, this thing, again, not as useful to me, I think. One thing I didn't know until after purchasing, so I have the TRD, so I have that little thing, but mostly I got the TRD for the locker. And honestly, like, I've used these, I don't use them much. Like, I never use like the off-road crawl control type stuff, but I do use MTS, multi-terrain select. And this is very good. This will dynamically give power to specific wheels depending on the situation. MTS is good. So MTS and locker are the main reasons I get the TRD off-road. Yeah, it's got the Bilstein shocks and a few other things, but really that baby right there and the MTS and that red button, not really, are the main reasons. So while we're in here, I don't have the wireless charging. Again, this is a $60,000 truck, and the fact that I don't have wireless charging or any AC, like regular standard household plugs, is so dumb, but it is the case. I hear this wireless charger is actually not very good anyway, but it's a nice place to put your two phones right here. There is a little cubby, maybe 67 Designs will make a little phone mount thing that comes out over here that I can use. Right now, phone's just kind of in there, and we have wireless Apple CarPlay, so that's actually fine. We have a little cigarette lighter 12-volt outlet up there, a little USB there. Oh, and one note, I don't have the JBL audio system. I didn't know, so when you have the JBL, it pumps in fake engine noise. It pumps in, and everyone says it sounds really good. And I'm not opposed to that. I was kind of looking for that. It'd be cool if you could turn it off. You can't adjust the volume or anything, but apparently it pumped in fake engine noise through your speakers. Apparently, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe mine just doesn't sound very strong to where like I don't even notice it at all. I don't have the JBL. Again, I probably would have had the JBL. I hear it's pretty good in this model, but apparently if you get the JBL, it gives you the fake engine noise, but if you don't have the JBL, it doesn't give you the fake engine. So I don't have fake engine noise, so I can't even speak to the fake engine noise, but I hear it's pretty good. Quick note on water bottle holders for everybody that makes a car that is even remotely geared towards outdoorsmen or people that have jobs working long hours. I'm looking at you, Sprinter. You think your commercial truck, van drivers aren't carrying around big Nalgene's or Hydro Flasks or whatever they are? You think your Tundra owners or your Tacoma owners or your 4Run owners aren't? They are. So this one's super tiny. This one's a little bigger. I don't know if you can tell, I can't get it all the way in here. I can kind of get it in there to where it'll be, I don't know, it would eventually bounce loose. But same with these back ones. Can kind of get it in there, but it's not really in there. So it would have costed you exactly $0 more to make a cup holder that was just like 2 millimeters bigger. You got plenty of room for it here and in the back to fit this. I don't know. I don't have facts. I don't have proof, but I'm guessing this is like one of the most popular water bottles, just a regular 32 ounce Nalgene for outdoorsmen especially. And you ain't got a water bottle pocket that fits us. But there are some cup holders there that fit your tiny little things if you use those. Doesn't fit over here either. So That's kind of a gripe. And again, we got storage down here. You know, it's a good amount of storage. This is okay. This has this thing that everyone raves about, like you can access your thing with this little thing without opening your glove box. That's a cool, yeah, I like it. It's a cool feature. This is very comfortable. It's nice. You got kind of 2 armrests going on here, and you can open it. This is another feature that people are like, oh my gosh, you can open it from both sides. It's amazing. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But you can open it up. And it's a good sized glove box, you know, nothing to complain here. It's just weird because it's all stepped. So this is like higher, this gets lower, and then you get even lower over here. There's a bunch of change slots in here. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but who's using change? Like maybe on tollways or something, but I feel like most of those are electronic or digital, and if they're not, there should be. But we have 4 slots dedicated to change right here. I had some change. I had to go find some change just to throw it in here in case I needed. I don't remember the last time I've needed to change, but 4 slots here dedicated to change. These should be pen holders or flashlight holders or something, you know, zip fizz holders or pen holders. It's just, I don't know. I don't know who designs this stuff. If you're watching this, if you're a Toyota designer, like, I don't mean to offend you. Again, you're way smarter than I am, but I'll give you some free feedback on what the people want, because they don't want coin holders. Or if they do, maybe like 2 of them and then some like pen flashlight holders. But it's a big storage compartment. We got USB-C, USB-A. This thing, which is apparently you can like do something with. Sorry, let me get some stuff out of the way. This is supposed to be like a modular tray. So you can pull it out, but I don't really understand, like, it doesn't really fit anywhere else. Like, it kind of fits here, but not really. It doesn't really fit here. It doesn't really fit here. Like, doesn't fit here. But I don't know. I've watched so many videos of the Tundras, and everyone like talks about all this stuff, and I try to do it, and I'm like, what are you talking about? It doesn't work like that. But maybe I'm dumb, or maybe I just haven't spent enough time, but basically that fits there. And again, it's a big console. It's pretty good. You can get a console safe that I may get that kind of cuts you off halfway and gives you a safe over there. It's a good console. It's just, they could have done so much more. Like the Ford one that flips over and you can like use a laptop on it. This thing folds down and you have this big flat work surface area. I would take that over this. And then the Ford cup holders also goes from 2 to 4. And then those 2, they do fit a Nalgene bottle. So again, love Toyotas. This truck drives amazingly well. From here, like the experience in the cockpit is very good. The seats are very comfortable. Everything feels good. The materials feel good. Screens, again, everything here is great, or everything here is good. But with a little bit of effort, it could have been great. Other than that, you have a glove box. It's actually pretty small, honestly. Glove box, pretty small. I think that's about it up here. Oh, there is a sunglasses holder. It's very big. It'll fit pretty much all of your sunglasses, I'm sure. Some lights. They are all LED, but they're pretty weak. They could have been brighter. Controls for moonroof and everything. In the double cab, you just get a regular moonroof though, not the panoramic. There's no room. And the other thing that kind of sucks in the double cab is you get a power back window, but it just goes left to right. This is a power back window, just in that middle section, kind of your standard. In the Crew Max, it's one of the coolest things about the Tundra is the whole window slides down. This one, they don't have enough room. That whole mechanism eats up a big chunk of space. So basically what you get in the Crew Max is the length, the wheelbase, the overall length is exactly the same as this, and you get about 8 more inches of legroom, which is significant. But in this, you get 8 inches less of legroom, but you get a foot more of bed. So in the Crew Max, you're losing a foot of bed for 8 inches of legroom. it's not a great trade-off. It should be a foot of bed for a foot of interior space, but you don't get that, and part of that is because of the mechanism and the motor and everything for the roll down rear window. So I'll show you just so you can see. Again, don't misinterpret what I'm saying. The back seat in this truck is small. I'm not saying it's massive. I'm not saying this is all you need. If you're carrying around larger people quite often, then by all means, the Crew Max is the truck for you. But just to show you, this seat is adjusted where I would normally sit. Again, I've been trying to work at sitting a little more upright. So this is probably if you're like sit really far back, or if you have super long legs, or if you're just a little more gangster, you won't have this much leg room back here. But if you're smaller than me, you know, again, 5'10", 180, if you're smaller than me, you'll have more back seat leg room than this. So this is it. I can get in no problem. You just kind of get in, and then I have room actually. So I'm sitting all the way back here, and if I put my butt all the way back like you would sit, I have a fist's length of knee room here. And again, I know this is sounding repetitive. If you like to sit a little bit further back in the front seat, then you'll have less leg room back here, very obviously. But sitting back here, the seat back is a little more straight up than like in the Crew Max, like you'd be sitting a little bit more angled. So this is a little more straight up and down, obviously, to get you as much knee room as you can. But this is fine back here. This is, I could sit back here. I can have my legs together. I can have my legs spread open. So what I would say is if you have two people, two full-grown adults back here, no problem in the double cab. This middle one is where it gets really weird. So this, you can probably see it, is comically small. I can fit my fist just barely through here. And the double cab also doesn't have any vents in the back either. So it's not really a back seat friendly thing as much as the Crew. So the problem here is getting through this is like, you really gotta contort a little bit. And then once you're in, you have no feet room in the middle. So you're obviously taking up either side. And this is okay. Like once I'm in here, like I would not want to do a road trip like this, but I could manage. You're just eating into some of the legroom here, and your feet kind of got to be positioned right. But it is what it is. So the door panel, you saw a little bit of it earlier. There's kind of this, I'll show you the other side that has nothing in it, but I can show you kind of how I have it loaded out with this little pouch here. I have a little ham radio, a little pepper spray, some gloves here just to kind of keep things from rattling. So none of this stuff rattles around. So this is kind of taking up one of your little things, and then I have another one here, and then I have this little kind of weird little storage here. You got this tiny little bit of storage up in here to put stuff, and that's basically it for the door. The rear door in the double cab, that's where it sucks. I think the Crew Max has pockets back here. Nothing, which is another fail. When you actually close this, there's about that much room between there and there. So you could easily put a little pouch, could have easily put a water bottle thing, could have easily just put some kind of storage right in here. Easy fail. Put some storage in there. And you just got this little thing. And then here it is, just empty. So this is where I have, that pouch of all the stuff. So it's pretty decent map pocket. This is the front seat. And then under the front seat, there is a little bit of room. You can put some stuff up under the front seat. But nothing else, no other pouches or storage or little pockets or anything over here. No cubbies or anything over here. Here's your buttons. Again, this will differ by your options or your trim. I don't have the outlet power, so this is the jellyfish launcher we got in here. The bed light off, on, or on by the door. Auto high beams. Auto start and stop, which is I like it because it doesn't engage until you really push down on the brake. So if you don't want to engage it, you can completely come to a stop with the brake and keep the engine running. And if you want it to turn off, then you push it down a little further. It's your gauge panel, dimness, odometer, trip. This is, I kind of forget what that one is, honestly. Heated steering wheel. And this is actually kind of nice. This is your headlight adjustment. So if they're aimed too high or too low, instead of getting in the hood and using a little screwdriver, you can adjust it like that. So despite not having a ton of legroom in the back seats of this, again, very much doable. No heated or cooled, just nice little rocket ship logos. It is perforated in the back, even though no heated or cooled in my setup anyway. We do have the cup holders there, little pouch in here. You could fit little, something small. And then the Limited anyway has USB-A, USB-C, and you would, if you get the power package or whatever, which comes standard on 1794 or is an option on SR5 or Limited, you'll get a little AC outlet plug here. But the cool thing is, not having the JBL isn't all bad because I don't have a subwoofer back here. So I have lots of storage. I have storage here and then storage back through there. On the other side, this is a 60/40. On the other side is your jack and your little attachments to get your spare tire down and everything like that. So I love having storage. I haven't fully kitted this thing out. I'll probably take up every nook and cranny of this thing because I like gear. I love my gear, but it's nice. You do have a little bit of storage back there. I don't think you had that on the last generation. So that's like one upgrade from the last generation. And then the under storage is pretty nice. What I don't like is there's no latch to keep it down. So it just like flops down. Nothing to keep it. There's a little pull tab here, which I'll show you. So you lift it up and it just kind of falls down. But when you really slam it up, then it engages and you'll pull that. So back here, there's actually a surprising amount of space under the seat, which I obviously like. So I have it kitted out. I have a extra pair of boots and kind of some winter gear. This is a jacket under here. You have a little bit less space in the middle for the hump for your drive line. But back here, I got a little go bag. In the back, I got stuff underneath. I got a Dark Angel medical IFAK, like a lot of good storage. And this is one of the things I love about trucks. I got a little bit in the Tacoma, but this, even though the back seat in this is smaller than the Tacoma, I have more underseat storage than I did in the Tacoma. And that's nice. And so to release this, you pull that and it falls down. So really storage in the back, pretty sick. Legroom, you could manage, but if backseat room is super, super important to you, which it isn't at all to me, then yeah, maybe you want the crew. They did change to like regular handles, so it just kind of looks more like a regular four-door thing versus the little kind of cubbies of the previous generation. But that's the cab. So around back, no lock or anything on this. It does have a nice little holder for your thing. And I think you just need 80 set. You don't need premium fuel, even though this is a turbo. Much like the Ford EcoBoost, you can just do the poor man's gas. TRD off-road. This is the thing that everyone loves to talk about. Like, oh, coolest thing in the world. Oh, man. And it's cool, yeah. So that'll go down. This only works when you have your key in your pocket. So interestingly enough, you can open that with your key in your pocket, but it doesn't open any of the other doors. It just drops that down. If you don't have your key in your pocket, this is locked if your doors are locked. The only unfortunate thing about that, and really like all powered tailgates, is I'm gonna put a Diamondback cover up on this, and the Diamondback cover is not unique. Any kind of cap or camper or tonneau cover that has any kind of weather seal here, that's gonna keep that from operating. So I'll show you. I'm just putting light pressure on here, not even like holding it that much, just light pressure. It won't open it. So probably that feature won't come in too handy for me, even though it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. The thing that's not kind of cool is there's nothing on this tailgate. And people watching this are probably like, you're talking so much crap about the truck. Why'd you even get it? I want to make better products, and it's not really the Toyota way to be the most feature-full truck. This is the truck, again, I bought it, I chose it, I knew everything I did not learn anything buying this truck. I knew everything except for that I don't have fake engine noise without JBL, but everything else I knew. So I knew everything I'm telling you going into it, and I still bought the truck. So that hopefully should mean something to you. But the bed is the most basic bed ever, straight out of 1950 probably. We have the little channels, which are nice. So there's a lot of companies that make various accessories for this. The Tundra and Tacoma both have this set up now where this is like movable tie down things, and that's, you know, that's cool. But the tailgate itself, there's nothing. There's no step. This is a big one that people complain about. There's no step right here, but I don't know. They're a little old. I always just hop up into the tailgate like that and then just hop down. So I personally don't care about that, but it's a huge zonk. A lot of people are upset that there's no step here. Like a normal pickup bumper will come all the way to here and have a little spot here you can step onto. The GMCs are probably my favorite because they got the little cutout step there, which is sweet. And some of them have the little cutout step here, which is sweet as well. I like that, but I really like the Ford has the pull-out step option. I think Chevys and GMC have that weird like step you can pull down. I don't think Ram's doing anything too spectacular, but they do have an optional step here that is either manual or powered. If you have like a higher spec, the little step, kind of like the amp research step that comes out. So again, I don't care. It's totally fine, but just to note. What I am bummed about though, like the new Ford's tailgates are really cool. Again, I'm gonna be using the truck for, I wish I could pull a Ford tailgate off and put it on this, because I would in a heartbeat. They have cool little spots to put clamps so you can clamp wood when you're sawing it off or whatever. It has tape measure built in, has little slots to put your pens and whatever. This whole thing is actually flat. It has little tie downs, bottle openers over here. It's just a much more, it's cool. It's just a very cool tailgate. And this is just the most basic tailgate that you're ever gonna get. That's fine. In the bed, this is all composite with aluminum reinforcement. This one does have the factory bed liner, which I don't know, I probably would have passed on if I had the choice, but it's very, very grippy, grippier than most other bed liners I've felt on top of the composite bed. Other than that, though, there is nothing in here. Again, I'll take some measurements in an upcoming video, but I believe the bed got narrower and shallower than the previous generation, so that's big thumbs down. But the bed is good. I mean, it's got your slots for the 2x, so you can kind of section stuff off above the wheel wells in the front there as well. It's got 4 tie downs in the corners. What I don't understand, when I'm hauling stuff, I want to tie down on the ground. So I usually end up adding like a D-ring or something to these, because when I'm hauling lumber, I want to strap it and put it tight. That's why I like when they have the little tie downs in the tailgate. That's nice. It's a nice little touch, but this one doesn't have it. Mine also, you can optionally get a bed light. My $60,000 truck did not come with that bed light, but I would have got that option. Luckily, the Diamondback has a little light that you can add to it, so I'll use that. And I have no power. Again, $6,000 truck, no power back here. The most you can get is one outlet. I forget what side it is. I think it's on this side. One 400 watt outlet. So they're not doing anything cool like the Fords with the big 30 amp plugs and all that crap. You get one outlet max. Again, is what it is. I have that outlet in the Tacoma. I hardly ever use it. The Tacoma bed is much more, is way better than the Tundra bed, which is funny. So the Tacoma bed, I have a storage pocket there. I keep all my tie downs and everything. It's actually pretty big. You can't see it, but I have another pocket. So you have pockets on both sides. This was actually a downgrade from the previous. This is a 2016. This is a 3rd gen Tacoma with the exact same bed as the 2nd gen Tacoma. The 2nd gen Tacoma even had some pockets up there. The 3rd gen ditched them, but basically even the Tacoma bed is more featureful than the Tundra bed, which is a bummer. For the bed, 6.5 foot bed, nice and big. I'm just gonna be throwing crap back there, firewood and lumber and all kinds of stuff. So it is gonna completely and totally meet my needs. I am a fan of the composite beds over the steel, kind of like them. I usually will put a bed mat in. I don't know if I will, because this again has that texturiness. I may just rock it as is. But this is a call, this is a plea, this is a cry for help from all of the truck manufacturers out there. I'm looking at all of you, not just Toyota, because the only company that I know of that's done anything interesting with all of this wasted space, and let me tell you, there's a lot of wasted space between here and here, is the ram boxes are the only thing. You know, the ram boxes that open here, that kind of uses it, but it also kind of makes your bed narrower. It's not like a perfect execution. And I saw there's some guy, I forget his name, but he like makes a thing where it can come up and then that turns into storage. A lot of wasted space that I'm bummed out about in here, because man, I hate wasted space. Because look at all of that wasted space. So much wasted space, so much room for activities under there that we're not capitalizing on. And in the front, same thing here. All this wasted space. All they need to do is make a pocket that goes in there. They need to take a cue from Rivian. They need to take a cue from the Ford Maverick. There's all kinds of companies doing more interesting stuff in truck beds. And again, Toyota just works. It is what it is. Reliability. I'm gonna start every time I hit that button. But I really wish they would get some ingenuity in the beds. I think that's it. You may have wanted some driving footage or like, how does it sound? It sounds like crap. And I'm sure there will be some aftermarket exhaust companies that are gonna fix that and make it better, because it's a twin turbo 6-cylinder, like a GTR sounds dope. I'm sure you can get this thing to sound dope. It doesn't sound dope right now. You might be like, ooh, where's the driving footage? Because every single car reviewer does. I get nothing out of it. Like when someone does like driving footage, I just like skip ahead because like who cares? I'm just watching you drive around on some random road. So I'm not gonna do that because I don't care. But it drives really, really well. All right, so I know this video, there was some ranting, and that's more of a lot of the stuff I complained about, like no manufacturers are doing good. The truck world hasn't had a lot of ingenuity, but I think stuff like the Ford Lightning, I think stuff like the Rivian, and honestly that little Maverick, but if you haven't seen them, those little Ford Mavericks, I honestly want one. I'm kind of trying to convince Ashley to let me trade her Raven for a Maverick, because they get pretty good gas mileage, but they're just like, they're well thought out. I look at that thing and I'm like, wow, that thing's well thought out. It's like, again, these engineers and designers way smarter than I am, but the Maverick is a truck that I can see like, it's like they had people like me sitting down designing some of these features because they're clever. So it's just a plea to like all the companies, just get more clever with your designs. Having said all of that, super happy with my purchase. Again, I knew all of that. I knew everything I talked about before getting in to this truck, and I still bought it, my own money. Toyota didn't pay me or anything like that, obviously. And I really like it. It drives really well. It's super comfortable. The cockpit, the experience, the big screen, the wireless CarPlay, heated and cooled seats, it's just the low end torque. It feels good. And I do think it's going to be the best looking truck once you put a little bigger tires and everything on it. Like I think you'll look at this truck in a couple weeks or a couple months and be like, oh dang, that actually looks good, if you don't think it looks good already. So yeah, that's about it. So probably the next video you'll see, it'll be sitting on like 35s with new wheels. It'll probably have the Diamondback cover on. It'll like have a couple little mods, and I think it'll look much better. Chrome will all be gone. So looking forward to that. Let me know down below if you have questions. I know this video got long. I know because I have been looking at the time, but hopefully that was helpful for you. Let me know down below if you have any questions though. Again, I'm going to be doing some future videos, just like, longer ownership type videos, but also comparing it to the previous generation Tundra. I don't know, I could compare it to the Tacoma if you want, outlining some of the mods and stuff I do with it. But again, this is not really going to be it's going to be kind of an overland adventure build, but I'm not doing anything too crazy on it. It's not going to have a tent that's living on it 24/7. Granted, I probably will throw a tent on here and there. It's going to be like an everyday user truck, like my daily driver using it truck. Not like sitting there ready for an expedition, like actually using it. So I'm kind of excited about that. Hopefully you guys are too. But let me know, yeah, down below, like what you'd like to see with the truck, questions you have on the truck, what kind of videos you'd like me to do with it. And I'll do my best. I'll do my best. And don't forget, thumbs up, share the videos. YouTube's a weird place. When I make videos that are kind of all over the place, like YouTube doesn't like it. They're just like, just make one kind of video. And I'm like, that's boring. So you guys can help out by sharing the video, thumbs up in them, commenting them, getting subscribed, obviously. I know you hear every YouTuber say that, but I gotta say it too, because I make videos on YouTube. So, appreciate you watching it. Let me know down below, you hate it? You love it? You stoked on it? You super upset? You're like, you should have got a Silverado 1500, you idiot. Let me know. I like hearing it. Cool. All right, guys. Until next time, take care.